Kiefer, great to have you here. Well,
thank you.
Welcome back here to London. You here for long? What are you doing?
Just a few days. Just a few days. But
do you have
thanks
friends
for having
here?
me.
Do you hang out with people? Do you have friends who you visit?
I do,
with?
actually. I've got a few friends here, people that I've worked with over the years. My son-in-law is actually here.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a nice time to catch up with some
you
friends.
filmed over here a few times. Which movies have you made over here then?
Oh, I made well, we did Three Musketeers in
yeah.
Cornwall. Did a film called Chicago Joe and the Showgirl some 20-some-odd years ago.
That's way back, isn't it?
Way, way back.
Well, before we get any further in the interview, any further thoughts on that tattoo you promised me you'd consider?
If you draw it like the footballers, I'll give it a consideration.
Yeah, just a stick man. Okay, it's, I guess, an exciting time for you in some ways, but at the same time, a sad time for us that it's been announced this is the last season of 24, the 8th season, which I know, I don't want it to...
Thank you.
You must have another 5 or 10 in you, come on.
Well, we've wanted to make a film, the film version for a very long time, and it's such a demanding task for the writers.
Well, yeah, well, it's not only a hard thing to write, I guess, but also for you guys, it must be like making... it's like 24 feature films.
It's the equivalent of 12 films a year. But the real task is for the writers. And so we had always agreed that when we were doing the show, we wouldn't consider the idea of a feature film. And finally, Howard Gordon just said, I want to do the movie. And so, it's going to be actually a really nice change for us, because even though the series is really revolved around the real-time aspect of the show, the film will be a 2-hour representation of a 24-hour day.
So you can, I guess, play around with it more.
Well, in the series, we always had to have the crisis come to us.
Yeah.
Now we can go in search of it.
And I guess also, I mean, you won't have to keep answering that question about when does he go to the toilet?
Yes.
Because
we're dedicating a whole moment to that. That's our ending.
Finally, see Jack Bauer relieve himself.
With a hot dog.
Because everyone...
Eating a hot dog on the toilet.
And recharging his mobile phone as well.
Yeah.
Because they're the things people always pick up on.
The mobile phone finally doesn't work.
Yeah. But what a great success it's been for you.
Oh, it's been the gift of a lifetime. And so, yeah, it's a very bittersweet situation. I think even though Howard and I believe that it was the right thing to end the series and move into the films, we were not prepared for the emotional kind of reaction. We've worked with the same people, the 125 people, just like you have your crew, which last time I was here, they took me out and got me quite drunk. They're good people, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. But we've worked together 14 hours a day, 5 days a week for 9 years. And they become, I know it always sounds trite when people say it, but they do. They become like your family. I spent more time with them than I did my own family. And so the very last day, people were very funny, and it was actually a very hard shooting day. It was a great day, though. But the second they called that last rap, I watched some really tough guys fall apart. And so it was a really moving kind of day.
And had you prepared yourself for that moment, or did it kind of hit you later on that it was over in that way?
I thought I had prepared for it, and I went to say a few words to the crew and how much this time had meant to me, and I remember my bottom lip started to go, and I lost my voice. So as much as you think you can prepare for a moment like that, it was much more difficult than I had thought.
I've been enjoying the series so far, so this is going to be one of the good ones. Not that there were any bad ones as such, but you know, there's some were better than others.
Every year is an effort to try and learn from the previous seasons, and I think the 8th season was a perfect culmination of everything that we had learned and tried to steer clear of some of the mistakes that we'd made. What was really fantastic for the writers is they got to write towards an ending finally.
Yeah.
And so if you take a look at the first 7 seasons, all of the things that Jack Bauer ends up having to deal with are crises that are really threatening the world. Towards the end of season 8, Howard Gordon set up a series of circumstances where the world isn't necessarily threatened, but these circumstances, for the first time, really pissed Jack off. And
so he kind of finally had enough.
He's mad, and it's a personal thing, and so he goes out kind of in a serious blaze of glory.
But this must take a lot to make him mad, because he's been tortured by the Chinese, and he cut a friend's hand off, and he died and was brought back to life.
Twice.
Right, so If that didn't piss him off, I don't know what they've done at the end of this series.
You're going to have to watch it, but I think you're going to like it.
Is
but
it
it
something
is a real
quite
change
small,
of pace.
like when you stub a toe going to the bathroom at night, and it just tips him over the edge?
It's probably not being able to find a bathroom all these years.
Or catching himself in his own zip. When we meet people who have played a role for a long while, like you have, you've inhabited it, and you kind of are Jack Bauer to us, of course. No one else has played him. We want to see you be a bit of Jack Bauer. Do people expect you to be somehow more like him than you? Do you play up to that?
I probably get called Jack now more than my real name. And the worst part is I think I've started to respond to it, which is kind of embarrassing. But for me, Jack Bauer, I mean, the real difference between myself and Jack Bauer is Jack Bauer's just in a much greater hurry. I could go to a restaurant and just say, I want a glass of water. Jack Bauer's, I need a glass of water. It's not funny!
It's quite funny, Jack. Can I call you Jack from now on?
You can do whatever you want. It's your show.
Can I ask you, was extra care taken over Jack's final words in the series, of what the character gets to say at the very end, or?
Yeah, there's well, I don't want to spoil it, but there's actually a very touching kind of moment, and I don't think the other actor or myself kind of thought it was going to be. What was very odd is we shot, and I didn't notice it till the last moment, but the scene we shot was scene 24-24, which was really bizarre. But no, we shot out of order, and actually we were very lucky to, because that last moment actually worked. We were quite proud of it, and we think worked quite well, that we then really got to build everything up towards it, so we shot it quite early.
And does he show emotion at the end? Because over the...
Well, I can't tell you that.
But over the 8-9 years, you know, he's only really shown us that. I mean, we know it's all going on, but openly, there's only been like one or two...
You see a lot of emotion in the circumstances that conspire to piss him off. You see a lot of emotion through that, yeah, which is basically him coming apart.
What about you in real life, Keith? Are you an emotional guy? Are you someone who lets it out? I know you famously you like to party.
Oh yeah.
And that's a healthy thing.
Thank you.
That's a good thing. But do you are you in touch with your emotions? Do you share that side of yourself with
every once in a while? Yeah.